to item number 6. That would be Senate Bill 201, and that is Senator Taylor. And you are recognized. Let's see. There are, I'm trying to work 3 different sets of papers at once. So Senate Bill 201, and I'll move the bill. Do I have a second? Second with Senator Taylor. There is an amendment 003531. I'll move the amendment. I have a second with Senator Taylor. Senator Taylor, you are recognized to proceed.
All right. Thank you, Madam Chairman. If I could, I'd like to briefly outline what this bill does, and then I've invited a constituent for whom this bill is named, Jabari Bailey, and let him share his story and the need for this legislation. So, according to the AAA, there are 350 people a year that are struck and killed outside disabled vehicles on the side of the road. Roughly a quarter of the motorists don't even know that slow down, move over laws exist in the various states. Motorists get flat tires, they break down, they run out of gas, they find themselves otherwise in trouble on the side of the road, and they face the danger of trying to change tires or deal with their disabled vehicle with cars literally feet away from them traveling 60, 70, 80 miles an hour. And a recent survey done by the AAA said that 97% of motorists were concerned about their safety when they were stopping on the side of the road. So what this legislation does, Madam Chairman, is we already have slow down, move over for emergency vehicles. And this will extend it to any stationary vehicle with their hazard lights going. And that would signify that motorists would need to either slow down if it's a 2-lane road or move over if it were a 4-lane road. And so this bill accomplishes 2 things. One is it will establish the move over for stationary vehicles in addition to emergency vehicles, but it will also revise the fines. For the first offense, it'll have a minimum of $100 fine to a maximum of $250. Second offense will have a minimum of $500 and a maximum of $1,000. And the third and subsequent offenses would be a minimum of $1,000 with a maximum of $2,500. This comes with real life consequences. And if I could, Madam Chairman, if you would allow me, if we could go out of session and if I could introduce my guest to address the committee.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Taylor. Yes, we are out of session to hear from the witnesses.
All right. Thank you, Madam Chairman. I've got 2 witnesses. My good friend, Jay Bailey, and he comes from a long line of prominent attorneys in Memphis. His uncle, Judge DeArmey Bailey, who passed away in 2015. Our courthouse in Shelby County is named for DeArmey, Jay's uncle. I actually had the pleasure of serving with Jay's dad on the county commission, Walter Bailey, and our criminal justice center in Memphis is named after Jay's dad. But I really wanted you to hear from Jay's son, Walter's grandson, Jabari Bailey, and I'm going to let him tell his story, but I'll steal a little bit of his thunder. And he was an outstanding high school football player, and I'm going to try to get through this without getting emotional. Undertakers tend to do that, you know. He was an outstanding football player, had been given a full scholarship to Tuskegee University. And between his high school and college career, the summer before he started college, he was called by a friend to help on the side of the road. And because we didn't have this law, he was severely injured. And I'm going to let him tell his story. But with that, I will introduce Jabari Bailey. And Madam Chairman, if you could give whatever instructions you'd like in terms of time limit.
Thank you. Thank you. You're recognized, and make sure the button is pushed with the little red light on if you see the arrow beside it, and if you'll introduce yourself. And let's aim for around 5 minutes, if we can. So we've got a number of other bills that we need to get, taken care of today. So thank you for being here.
Good morning, committee. I thank y'all for having me. As Mr. Taylor introduced, I'm Jabari Bailey. 5 years ago, coming up on 5 years ago, I was giving a friend a boost off on the side of the road in Memphis, Tennessee, as I was home from college, and I was, struck by a driver, and he hit the rear end of a car while I was in between both cars, and I lost my leg in the incident. And I just want to thank you guys, for recognizing it and, trying to make change. It's very unfortunate, and, if we can do anything to help, decrease the amount of people that has to go through this, I think it'll do, the community good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bailey, did you have anything you want to add?
I just want to, I was a little surprised my son said anything. He's usually a man of little words. How a mean linebacker could be so bashful, I've never understood. But I want to just reiterate what he has said. It was a tragedy after watching my youngest kid, go from the 6th grade and building his body to a point where he became a top recruit, traveling with him all over the country, hopping in the car, driving from city to city on recruiting trips, and then he settled on Tuskegee, and he was redshirted the first year, as they do most freshmen, and he was home because my grandmother was turning, I think, 100 that year, and I asked him to, he was due back in football camp, and I said, why don't you just hang around? You never know when it's going to be the last birthday, And so he hung around and stopped to help someone. And, I've never understood why drivers don't pay attention to what's right in front of them. But obviously this guy didn't. He was driving a truck, and he struck. Both cars had their hoods up, and he didn't see the cars, and apparently. And he struck them, and we would have lost our kid had a good Samaritan, an angel, not stopped and because the leg was severed on the spot, and stopped the bleeding. So we believe that this measure will be good for everybody. I did a little research after talking to Senator Taylor, and there are a lot of deaths on our roads and highways as a result of people not getting over. And so I urge you to push this measure through, and it's long overdue. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Senator Nicely.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Now, this law, you have to have your flashing lights on before you
Senator Nicely, we're still out of session.
I'm sorry.
So if any questions of the witness.
This was a sponsor.
Senator Bowley.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I just want to, as a mother, say I know your parents are so proud of you, and it took a lot of courage to even come and talk today, and I appreciate that. But I understand why you're a man of few words when I heard how many lawyers are in your family. So I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Senator Bowling, I can appreciate that. I came from a line of attorneys too. So, Senator Taylor.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. His brother's an attorney, and he's got cousins that are attorneys, so you're right. Madam Chairman, I just wanted to say, after I had put this bill on notice, I was going back and refreshing my memory on some newspaper articles that were written at the time, and one of the articles, Jabari was quoted. He was concerned about his severed leg for about 5 minutes, and from that point on, he knew his life was going to be different, and it was all about moving forward. It wasn't about looking backwards and what he was missing. And I hope we could all emulate the attitude that Jabari has in really life-changing circumstances. I'm just inspired by his story. And I appreciate the committee's indulgence and me getting all sappy up here. And that, but I appreciate y'all being here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and we appreciate you for being here. Sorry that the circumstances that brought you here, and hopefully we can do something that will make something like this not happen to somebody else. And I know that's your ultimate purpose. So, thank you. Thank you. Okay, we are back in session, and I believe Senator Nicely has a question for the sponsor.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Now, this bill don't take effect if you got the flashing lights on, or does it affect anybody off to the side of the road?
Madam Chairman, if I may.
You're recognized.
Thank you, Senator Nicely. Yes, the bill states that upon approaching a stationary vehicle that is giving a signal by use of flashing hazard lights, a person who drives an approaching vehicle shall, and it talks about slowing down or moving over.
Well, I think that's important. I had a neighbor, the very same thing happened to. He stopped to tighten the chains on his trailer, and a car just ran right into him. I think people, if they get hypnotized watching the car ahead of them, and they think that's car to the side is the car they're watching, you know, to get in a daze. But yeah, it's dangerous, and I really appreciate this bill. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Is that okay? I couldn't tell if you were scratching your head or raising your hand. So, Senator Taylor, I think we're on the amendment. Did you explain the amendment?
Yeah, I appreciate that, Madam Chairman. The amendment simply names this this bill the Jabari-Bailey Highway Safety Act.
Okay, thank you. Seeing no other questions, we'll take a voice vote on the amendment. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposition, say nay. Seeing none, amendments on the bill. And then we're back on the bill as amended. Seeing no other comments or questions, clerk, take the vote.
Senator Bailey? Aye. Votes aye. Senator Bowling?
Aye.
Votes aye. Senator Briggs? Senator Campbell? Aye. Votes aye. Senator Nicely? Aye. Votes aye. Senator Pody?
Aye.
Votes aye. Senator Powers?
Aye.
Votes aye. Senator Taylor?
Aye.
Votes aye. Chairman Massey?
Aye.
Votes aye. Chairman, you have 8 ayes.
Thank you. Senate Bill 201 passes and goes to Finance, Ways and Means. Thank you.
Madam Chairman,
Senator Taylor.
I have the next bill up. Could I roll to the heel of the calendar so I can see my guest out?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And that works out because I think, Senator Lowe, if you'll be coming forward, I think Senator Bowling has a comment.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I would just like to be added as a co-sponsor, and I would imagine a lot of the other members would, if that's possible, with the clerk's office.
Thank for the suggestion. I would recommend that all members that voted in the affirmative be added as co-sponsors, if that's under no objection. Seeing none, I believe we all are co-sponsors, if that's okay with Senator Taylor. Okay, so we are on item number